back. May 14th, National Buttermilk Biscuit Day. That's what we're making today, from scratch. Never did this one before, never made buttermilk biscuits from scratch. Usually you just buy them in that little can in the dough section of your supermarket. But I thought, okay, it's buttermilk biscuits. I can't just, that would be too easy of a cheat to just go and buy a store-bought can of that. Plus, we've been doing so well with our breads. Our sourdough bread was amazing. Our pretzel rolls, amazing. So I figured, all right, let's just take a crack at buttermilk biscuits. It's done in a food processor. It's not too many ingredients. Should be not too hard. Now, the other part of this is kind of a twofer today because the other part of it is you need something to put on your biscuits, your buttermilk biscuits. So today we're going to do a classic sausage gravy over our biscuits. That should be good too. Alrighty, so I'll show you a whole bunch of stuff and let's get started. You got a lot to do today. Okay, for our buttermilk biscuits today, we need 4 cups of self-rising flour, a tablespoon of baking powder, half a teaspoon of baking soda, a half a teaspoon of salt, a third of a cup of cold unsalted butter cut into small cubes, a third of a cup of cold vegetable shortening cut into small pieces, and 1.5 to 2 cups of buttermilk. You'll also need some melted butter to brush on your biscuits when they go in. Okay, so first thing we're going to do today, put our dry ingredients and kind of just blend them real quick. Our 4 cups of flour, our baking powder and baking soda, and our salt. And we're just going to pulse this just to mix it together. And then what you're going to do next is add your butter and shortening. Make sure that your butter and shortening are really, really hard and cold right out of the freezer. I put them in the freezer for like 10-15 minutes just to make sure everything was nice and hard. Okay? Because you want to turn this into like a crumbly mixture, like kind of like when we made our pie, when we made our homemade pie dough from scratch, when we did the quiche back on spinach day. So same concept. Okay, so you're just going to pulse it till it gets all crumbly and together. And then once you see that you have that coarse mixture with the butter and the shortening, you're going to keep pulsing, and now you're going to slowly add your buttermilk to that just till the dough comes together. Okay, you don't want a wet mixture, you kind of want a nice stiff dough. And then you take your dough out of your food processor and you're just going to knead it for a few minutes on a floured surface here, just to kind of make sure everything is together. Now, you want to work kind of fast because you still want to keep your little pieces of butter and shortening in there. You don't want kind of everything to melt down, okay? So that's about it. And now we're going to roll it. You want to roll it to about, I guess about 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Okay. So we got our baking sheet here with our parchment paper lined up, ready to go. We rolled out our dough. I'm going to use this fancy little cookie cutter just to see if we can give it some nice, pretty design on this, okay? So we're just going to cut our biscuits. Now, as soon as you're done cutting all of them, I think this recipe said it makes about 18 biscuits or so. So as soon as you're done cutting them, you put them onto your baking sheet, and then what you do is just take all your excess dough that's around, re-roll it, cut out some more, and you just keep doing that until you got all your dough done. Okay, so let me get these onto a baking sheet and we'll be back. My first tray ready to go, so the last thing you're going to do is just brush them with some melted butter, okay, before they go in. Your oven is preheating 400 degrees, so get that good and hot. And I'm anxious to see how these are actually pretty easy so far. I'm kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be a big kind of nightmare process, but no, these seem to be coming along good. Now the real test is how they come out of the oven, if they blow up like a nice buttermilk biscuit. Okay, there they are, nice and pretty, going in, and we'll finish rolling these and get the next tray ready, and then let's get started on our sausage gravy, because that's what's going to go on top of this and really make these biscuits pop. Alrighty, see you in a bit. Okay, for our sausage gravy today, we need 1.5 pounds of pork sausage. We need 1 large shallot minced, 3 tablespoons of flour, 2 cups of beef or pork stock, a cup of milk, a half a teaspoon of salt, and a half a teaspoon of black pepper. All right, let's get started on our sausage gravy while our biscuits are baking, okay? So we're gonna heat up this pan here. We're gonna take our pork sausage. It's just the rolls of breakfast type sausage. You can use, you know, Jimmy Dean or Jones or one of them. And we're just going to brown this up nice and crispy. Now, when you're done browning this, drain off the fat into a separate dish, but hold on to it. Don't just get rid of it, because we're going to use it later on as still part of this dish, okay? So don't throw away the fat. All right, I'll brown this and I'll be back. Okay, and then once you have your sausage all nice and browned, like I said, you're going to take it out of this pan and drain it, because you want to keep as much of the fat that came off of this as you can, okay? Because that's what we're going to use to make our roux, okay? So let's just strain that out and get the fat back into the pan. And once we put our fat back in there, take your shallot, and we're going to cook our shallots just till they're like translucent, okay? You can use regular onion too if you want. You don't have to use shallots. I happen to have some on hand, so, and I kind of like the flavor of a shallot. So we change it up a little bit if we have stuff that we want to use up. That's one of the great things I love about this show too, is that it allows you, because we do so many different things, it allows you to go through stuff that normally you might not use all the way through, like baking powder and baking soda, that, you know, we do so many baking things that allows you to go through it and replenish it, you know what I mean? So, good stuff to have in your pantry at all times. You never know. Those are staples that you may need. And once your onions or shallots are translucent, take your 3 tablespoons of flour, and we're going to mix that in here. We're going to cook it just for a couple minutes, okay? You don't want to really brown your flour. You just want to cook the flour a little bit, stir it in with the onions real good, because we want to make that roux, which is why we needed to save the pork fat. Because to make your roux, you need a fat to go with your flour, okay? So just a minute or two, keep moving it around, mix it in really good. And what you're going to do is add about half of your beef stock, okay? Because we want to kind of deglaze this pan a little bit first and get all those flavorful brown bits off the bottom, okay? So as you can see, it thickens up already. So add a good amount of that, and half of your milk, okay? And let's get that mixed in and get that going, okay? Just to start, probably be better with a whisk. Let me get a whisk. Okay, I'm back with a whisk. Just because it allows you to break up any big pieces here, okay? So now just add, once you have that mixed in, almost like you're starting it, you're thickening first, and then add the rest of your beef stock and your milk, and we're just going to let this simmer, and this is going to thicken up really nice. You'll see that flour, 3 tablespoons of flour is really going to make this a thick gravy, okay? So just let it cook on a low, medium heat, just till it thickens up, and just keep whisking it so that way you break up any clumps or anything that you have, okay? Okay, so our sausage gravy, or our gravy part of our sausage gravy, has thickened up nicely. Now we're going to add our sausage back to this, okay? And we're just going to whisk that in. So you got this nice thick gravy. Make sure too, when you were browning your sausage, that you kind of break it up into nice pieces. You know, you don't want big chunky pieces. Well, some, but for the most part, you kind of want, you know, you want it chopped up. So we're just going to mix that in, and then we're going to salt and pepper it, but we wanted to wait so we could see, you know, we can taste test it and see how much it needs. It's really good already, but we'll add our pepper to it just to give it a little more kick, and we'll just add a pinch or two of the salt just to make sure that we don't over salt it, okay? And then taste it again. Don't just assume what you did changed anything. Now I can double dip because this is for me. Normally I would say if you're cooking for other people, don't double dip your spoon. but this is all for me, so. Wow, that's really good. This is going to be great over our biscuits. Alrighty, so that's pretty much done. There's our sausage gravy. Biscuits are just about done in the oven, so we'll get those out and we'll plate this up and let's enjoy Buttermilk Biscuit Day. I know we kind of made this thing too, but it's Buttermilk Biscuit Day, so as long as our biscuits come out good, the rest is all gravy. Be right back. Biscuits are out, really nice and crispy on the outside. I'm hoping that they're nice and flaky on the inside. Let's take one and break it open. Let's see what we got here. Oh yeah, nice and flaky on the inside. So we're going to take a couple of these and we're going to plate them. They came out nice too with this nice little shape that we did here. A little fancier. Alrighty, and then just take some of your sausage gravy and just pour it on the top. As much or as little as you like. Okay. Sausage gravy and biscuits. Very southern. Let me get a fork. We'll be right back to taste this one. Alrighty, here's my knife and fork. Let's dig into this. I mean, you really don't need a knife. It's not like you need a knife to cut into a biscuit, but some nice sausage and biscuit. Great flavor with the sausage and the gravy. The biscuits came out really, really nice. You kind of want to use them right away while they're still hot and flaky. But really good. Oh, very comfort foody. I could eat this whole day. I'm not even kidding. This is one of those things that you can just, you know, eat all day long and just enjoy the heck out of it. Alright, Buttermilk Biscuit Day. I know we made a sausage gravy, which is kind of covering up our buttermilk biscuits. But who cares? And don't forget, we did them from scratch today because we just wanted to try it and see if we can pull it off since we were doing so well with our breads. We did really well with these today. Very easy to do. But you can easily just go out and buy some of those store-bought buttermilk biscuits and make just the sausage gravy and put it over the store-bought ones. Just as good. Just have some buttermilk biscuits today, everybody. See you tomorrow.